All right, so the firm. Let me ask you straight at the top, Lacey, it is our background, our professional background is law firms. We've spent a lot of time in law firms. In fact, you more than me, I've worked on the plaintiff and defense side, but you spent a long, long time working in a big corporate law office.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like this movie does it have the verisimilitude? Does it have an attention for the detail of the corporate legal world?
It doesn't do anything that makes me be taken out of it, or like there's no like fatal thing that it does wrong. But this is a tax firm run by old white stuffy men, and my experience is a women-owned law firm, and we really leaned into that. So the vibe is different. I'd say, it succeeds at being a law firm movie. I'd say that. Right. And the needing to enter a billing code to use the copy machine. That was my favorite detail.
In the book, John Grisham goes on for like 25 pages about that. Like, this newfangled thing is incredible. I need to charge my client to make a copy? Because I guess this was a new invention, and he probably had not worked in an office where that was a thing.
Right.
Where you have to, folks, when you work in a law office, every second of everything you do has to be charged to a client.
If you could bill a shit when you take one,
that's why you have to be thinking about your client while you do that. And then you go, in my experience, I worked at a corporate firm that was a huge firm. And I feel like the culture is exactly represented of everybody's there super early. Mm-hmm. And I was too. And I felt like, well, that's my value is I can get here real early because I've always been good at getting places on time. In fact, I can be early. They'll always see me here early. Which is very different on the plaintiff side where you're not getting paid for those hours. So what's the point of being there?
It is a complete, culture shock. It was 13 years into working on the corporate defense side before I experienced plaintiff, and it felt gross. You would think the opposite were true, but the way that they treat finances and like support and like how to make sure you've got what you need to work and to make sure you're making a good case. It's like none of that. I understand it's just not rewarded because if you're not going to get paid by that client because they win something, you've done all of it for free. It's a fucked up system.
On the defense side, you're paid by a wealthy corporation no matter what you do. In fact, you overcharge them, which is what this movie ultimately ends up being about is they're overbilling us.
I'd rather you say I didn't overcharge them because I had no control over those kinds of things.
The firm is overcharging
take your meaning.
These corporate clients, which I say, go ahead. Yes, please.
See?
But
we were a good law firm.
But the scene where he gets there early in the morning and there's already attorneys there, but it's in this case, they're doing some espionage.
Yeah, I'd say he gets like the opposite of rewarded for showing up early. That when he does, the instinct makes sense, but he's there and he just fucking sits there, and then he's made fun of and looked at strangely.
Yeah, but the book does do a good job of sort of capturing the workaholic culture.
Yeah,
where you are just killing yourself. You're working 80 hours and billing 100 hours. All for fucking what? So fucking save some money on somebody's taxes. It's all bullshit.
I don't think that's why they're doing it. I think they're doing it so that they get a nice bonus at the end of the year.
Well, yes, I know. But then in terms of what you're actually creating, you're actually creating in the world is I'm saving some guy tax money.
That's why I can't believe you're going to make me bring this up. Okay, so our kid is obsessed with something called mouthwashing right now.
Oh my God.
And wait, but the reason it's called that is the most interesting thing about it. It's basically this crew that is on this spaceship, and they are told that they're transporting just the most important shit. And so it's okay that some of them are being abused and some of them are dying on the ship and are being like horribly maimed. Like it's basically like, look, this is your most important thing to do. This is why you're going through all this. And then they discover one day that all they're doing is lugging back and forth different products like mouthwash. That's the one they open. Mm-hmm. So they decide that what they do in life is called mouthwashing. Mm-hmm. And anyway, it is a critique on, are you fucking kidding me? All of this to get some fucking guy on this other planet some mouthwash.
Sure.
You don't even need to use it.
It's what we're all engaged in all the time. Yes. For me to get 2-day shipping on something from Amazon that I'm not even going to open for days and days and days.
It's going to sit there and piss me off. Like, I don't know what that is.
The amount of energy that has to be expelled into the universe for that to happen. But yeah, when I first started working out of college, working for the law firm where you and I met, and I felt like this is a place where grown-ups are paid to go and like
grown up.
Go like, I don't know, tap their fingers and stuff. I don't understand what we do, what we create. I'm supposed to be billing my time, but they basically said, just make up a number. It's fine.
Okay, but let's say that's because you were a billable employee. You were a paralegal. Not everyone at a law firm is doing that. I didn't.
This piano score in this movie by Dave Grusin, I find pretty obnoxious. I think it is the Achilles heel of the movie.
It is like, feel this way, feel this way. Do you want to feel this way? What about this way? Feel this way, feel this way. Is that how you experienced it?
Well, that's what scores are supposed to do.
Okay, but they're not supposed to show you how sweaty they are. You see what I'm saying?
No.
I feel like this one's working too hard and not getting it done.
It's working too hard to evoke a spirit, and the spirit is just, hey, we're at the firm.
I feel like that's the 80s.
But that's not what the movie is. Because eventually it transitions into this kind of horror score, which I think is very effective. And when Tom Cruise is literally being chased by the jigsaw killer, and then the score's really working. But mostly the score is very bouncy piano.
I'm never ever going to offer my opinion on this podcast again. To be so shut down and so wrong at your little quiz.
Look, we've been doing this 8 years, and one time I finally disagreed with you.
I can't wait to pull up the record. I need a court reporter in here.
Cinematography by John Seal. This movie looks incredible. I think his work really elevates it. I think also shooting on location in Memphis is great. One great thing about these movies, about legal thrillers, or maybe let's say the John Grisham legal thrillers, is they take place in cities that you don't often get to see in movies.
That is cool.
Yeah, you don't see Memphis in movies, but when you see it, you're like, oh, there's a pyramid and a mud island and a monorail, and yeah, we should always be here. There's ducks running around this hotel. It's a great place.
Just at the top. Oh, wait, through the lobby. You're right, the Peabody.
Tom Cruise, Gene Hackman, The Firm is the two actors above the title, making you think, oh, this is a two-hander. The other fatal flaw of the movie, though, that gives Gene Hackman way more to do than his character has in the book, still, it's like, I just need more Hackman. This really should be this should just be Tom Cruise v. Gene Hackman, the whole movie.
Yeah, but I mean, it gives a little something to everyone to do. I've never seen so much script spread out. I don't know. It just felt like every few minutes a new person popped in and I cared about them a little bit.
Do you have a favorite performance?
I think as we go along, I will remember I'm sure it's Gene Hackman.
The
wife was good too.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
So Tom Cruise is playing basketball. He's running around campus with books. That's how you know he's busy. Probably has an apple in his mouth at one point.
Because he's a pig.
Apple in the mouth while you have stuff in your hands. That's how you know a person is busy. They can't even hold the apple.
No. They gotta bite and run.
He's interviewing for his law job. He hasn't even graduated law school yet, and they're interviewing him to be a lawyer.
He must be quite the pajamas.
Yes, and some guy's interviewing him, and he's like, "It's very impressive that you're going to be graduating top 5%, and also the thing about the law is," and he's like, "Top 5, sir.
Top 5 people.
Type 5 people." I'm like, do you have somewhere to be, Tom Cruise? You keep looking at your watch. And he's like, well, actually, I have to get back to my job. I'm on my lunch break. And we see he's waiting tables for all these stuffed shirt Hollywood Harvard legacy fucks.
He's dutiful. He cares about his sworn allegiance to do a thing.
Well, true, but it's supposed to make you understand he's going to Harvard, and most people who go to Harvard are from
he's a working man.
Elite evil families that go back
for sure.
Thousands of years of doing evil, but he's working at a diner.
He's made it in on the merits.
Mm-hmm. And literally having to wait on these people.
Yeah,
and what we find out about the firm is they target people. They target working class people who don't have elite connections.
I don't know that I noticed that. To be fair, this movie throws a lot at you. I think I could watch it a few more times.
They don't put a fine point on that.
No, you're right. That makes perfect sense. Definitely makes sense how they had that perfectly calibrated hooker lined up in the Cayman Islands. With her. Just wanted to feel rich.
Like how, Hollywood starlets like in the 20s and 30s were plucked out of Iowa and then brought over to Hollywood and then systematically abused. Or
you're so right.
What you see with a star like Britney Spears, who comes from a working class family and then gets abused by the system, versus stars who seem to have a lot of success. And then you look into it and it's like, well, their families were entertainment families. They sort of had connections. This
like
isn't
the
a bad
Eyelashes.
thing. like the Eilishes. This isn't a bad thing. This is just saying
certain people get protected and others don't. And there's a pretty easy reason why once you look into it.
Yes. But yeah, getting courted by all these big firms from all the big cities, making big money offers to go to their big law firms. And he arrives for an interview at a hotel with Oliver Lambert, the senior partner played by Hal Holbrook, and his bow tie. A very
This bow tie is not billed.
warm old gentleman. Oh, I'm just a nice old man. Nice to meet you.
Have you tried my popcorn?
This is my other guy. Let's see. What is this other guy's name?
This is my other guy.
Royce McKnight is played by Jerry Hardin from The X-Files. Played Deep Throat on The X-Files. That's the only other thing I remember him from. Also, there's Lamar Quinn, played by Terry Kinney, in this scene. So, I mean, one thing that's great fun about this movie is it's just lots of people in rooms having conversations.
Yes,
this is the first.
We love that. We love that. We love the politics. We love to feel the tone shift of like, you're saying something I like. We're all agreeing. You've stepped over the line. Now you're backtracking. But this first conversation, polite all around. It's a joyous time.
A conversation in rooms, it's like a great slice of pie. The only thing that can improve it, that can turn this scene a la mode, the scoop of ice cream, is a folder with some files in it. Ooh. That makes the scene even better. We're not there yet, though.
We'll get there.
He's like, well, how are you doing, Mitch McDeer? Mitch McDeer, what a name. My name is Mitch McDeer.
So endearing, this Mitch.
Hey.
More like McDeer in the headlights.
Kind of. Well, they're like, so how are you feeling? He's like, well, I never know what to say in these interviews. I just get a little tongue-tied. And Hal Holbrook's like, what other situations do you get tongue-tied in, Mitch?
Your asshole, sir?
And he's like, well, with my wife, whenever she walks into a room, I'm swept away by the majesty of her angel dust. You know what I'm saying?
It's important to them that they, you know what? That was a red flag for them that they missed. Because they want a guy tied down, not a guy who's in love, you know? Because you've got to be willing to keep her at home. And you've got to be not so like, well, you've got to be someone they can corrupt, and if they're going to use a hooker to do it, this was already a tricky thing that they this was risky, and also they're more capable of like reuniting or becoming a team, using each other as leverage. Also, she's wealthy. Did they not look into her at all?
Right.
That was kind of stupid, guys. You're slipping.
You really are, and
Nick
also
Deere
they
was
don't know
always
his
gonna-
brother's in prison.
But all he had to
Their
do
due
was lie
diligence is
about
they
it.
ask him, and he said, no brothers.
They have a bunch of guys. What are they doing?
Yeah. In the book, sorry to keep bringing up the book. In this scene, they already know about his brother and everything, and you also get the POV of the people interviewing him, and they're like, they knew he would lie about his brother, but they found this an acceptable lie.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So yeah, we're a small firm in Memphis, Mitch, but we're like a family. Stability is very important to us. Now here's an envelope, and it has an offer. It includes a bonus schedule, a low interest mortgage, and we'll lease you a Mercedes.
Well, okay, that makes it sound like he has to pay for the Mercedes. He doesn't. They're paying for the Mercedes, but it is a lease.
Right.
Just wanted to make that clear. Also, country club access, and then something else interesting that I thought was like, oh, I would like this. A membership to the Kroger? It's not that.
Jelly of the month. If you're, low interest mortgage from my employer, that is some skeezy shit.
That is some company town shit. You just get to pick your dwelling. You're so right. And don't worry, the phone guy that does everybody's phones for the company is going to come out and help you whether you need it or not.
But I was thinking about like, I don't know that I've seen a surveillance movie like this in a while. Like, what would you do in a 2025 The Firm? Like, it's so easy for your company to spy on you. Just we got his Wi-Fi password. We can listen to everything.
Or like, here's
now.
your company phone. Also, we're tracking everything
absolutely.
you're texting, and we're wiring. I mean, we hear all your calls. Your calls are being recorded and sent straight to us. My point is like, who has the time? Who's in charge? You need a high level person that's not going to talk, monitoring all this shit. So it's just, I'm sure they'd use AI by now. Like, look for these keywords. I'm scared.
No, you're right. And then to be making so many mistakes, so they have to hire a guy to read the AI and decipher, but that guy's using AI to decipher the AI.
Well, I mean, when you really zoom out from this, they are tight knit, but they are small. I mean, they've got two goons, but they can only afford the two. So they've got the walrus guy who's like a half goon, half in the office, driving a car guy. It's not that many people. But I guess at the end of the day, they're only trying to control. It's like basketball. You only need one person on one person, I guess. Was that man-to-man coverage? That's fucking football. I'm all the sports
that
right
works
now.
in basketball too.
All right, cool. So I guess they've got 3 goons and 3 junior associates.
No, so the way this works is they hire a guy. They give him they shower him with goodies.
Give him a mentor.
Yes,
that's a handler.
And for the first few years you work, you're doing legitimate work and you're doing a ton of it.
Yeah.
And then eventually they reveal to you, actually, we're a mafia law firm. Sorry, and you're complicit and you're incriminated.
Yes, and by then they've already coaxed you into having children, and those kids are already enrolled in private schools or whatever system they have already worked out for that. You're just so in it. That's why, I mean, I'm jumping all over the place, but the pure devastation you see in Lamar's face a few scenes from now, it's that. It's how do I get my kids out of this school without dying?
Well, and we've gotten compromise on you. And like the fucking Skull and Bones societies, when to get initiation into the club involves like jacking off into Geronimo's skull. It's like everybody here sees that you've done that, and now we all know that you've done it. And the point of all of this is we know each other's dark secret, and we could turn on each other at any time. But what keeps this going is that we won't do it. It's like that
brotherhood.
That's the scheme. But when they get a new guy in, it's like all the security resources are on that guy until we know he's taken care of permanently. That's why it's like there's a team of people whose whole job is just to monitor him. It's because that's how the scheme works. They all focus on one person at a time for years and years, and then they'll move on to a new guy. Yeah,
because you can just guess that Lamar was probably the one before him, or this Kaczynski, but like that 2 people defected at the same time that we find out later. We don't get any sense of like how old they are, how long in the process they've been. I think I need to watch this movie 3 more times.
They're associates who were like on the partner track, and presumably they found out.
Fine, but so is Lamar. So that's what I'm saying. How was Lamar one ring up from them, or was he in the middle of them and
he was in between.
Mitch?
Yeah, he was in between.
Okay.
Them and Mitch. But this is coming from the book. The movie could be its own totally different world.
Totally different.
Totally different. So here's some Chinese food is the next scene when we go to their shitty dirt bag apartment. Looks like a dump.
As soon as you see a radiator, then you know poor people.
That Tom Cruise, that Mitch shares with his wife, Abby, played by Jeanne Tripplehorn, and their dog, Hearsay. And she comes into the apartment and he showers her with kisses, but then she does her sexy prank. Excuse me, monsieur, my husband's going to come home soon. And he's like, fuck your husband and fuck me. He's like, here, I have Chinese food where it's a celebration. Now, I will admit a very embarrassing detail here, Lacey. Since I read this book at age 15, I always had the fantasy that I would like sell a novel or something and you would come home and I'd have Chinese food and I'd be like, good news, baby. Here's some chow mein.
You didn't realize you'd like get a stomach flu after having some Chinese food 7 years ago and swear it off for the rest of your life. So are you saying that if you do sell a novel, we can finally start having Chinese food again together as a family?
We just don't have good Chinese food where we live.
That's not what you blame it on.
That is what I blame it on.
Even bad Chinese food is good.
That's not true. I thought that was true. No, when we lived in New Orleans, there's some great Chinese places in New Orleans. Now we live in a suburb with no good Chinese places.
And I'm starved.
Let's go get fucking Chinese right now. I'll put Chinese in your mouth right now.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, good. It's our anniversary.
Oh, I meant to say that.
We're
going to have Chinese
food. We'll get some Chinese for our anniversary, but there's no good places. That's the problem.
Oh my God, he keeps saying it. He really is on the Delsum.
So he's like, they don't know that. I deleted that part.
Matt has taken some cough medicine. So if he sounds not like himself, it's because he's not.
It's because she yelled at me for taking too long to say something. All right, so that was my fantasy. I sold my novel. They want to publish Generation Y. They're going to publish 1.5 million copies.
Oh, monsieur.
Now it's, look, have you seen the download numbers on our Enemy Mine episode? Holy shit.
Works for me. You told us that we were getting monetized. We were finally able to be monetized by YouTube. You could have definitely got me Wong Boys for that.
Yeah.
Some Chinese food.
Anyway, it looks incredible. This Chinese food looks incredible. The other thing is about the Chinese food where we live is it doesn't come in these containers, which is bullshit.
Oh, I mean, it rarely does, ever.
There was a place in Baton Rouge that did. My favorite Chinese place I've ever eaten was in Baton Rouge, and it came in these containers. Oh, I miss it. That place isn't open anymore. But he hasn't even opened the envelope that has the offer in it. He's like, here, you do it. She's like, you haven't even opened it yet? And he's like, no. But they told me that they saw they hired like an ex-Mossad agent to torture all the other people I was interviewing with and find out how much they're offering me. And they took the highest offer and added 20%. So I'm guessing. And she opened it. She's like, ma. All right. So plus they're giving us a low interest mortgage. Now, another thing in the book mentions what this low interest mortgage is. 12%. We have a 5% interest mortgage. I meant to look up like what were interest rates in the early 90s? Were they way higher?
I think so. Well, now we're being further honeymooned. We're going to Memphis at the top of the Peabody with the ducks and everything so they can show us what they're like in person. And, now Tom Cruise's character came from not much. Like we said, he is working class. And what is her name? Abby comes from money. She totally doesn't mind downsizing and living in a shitty apartment with Mitch, so clearly she is over the finer things, or you could take him or leave him. So it makes sense that he's like bouncing around on fucking cocaine, just like totally dazzled by everything these guys are saying and doing, and he's spending time with the boys while of course this little lady's been spending time with the gals, and she's noticing some red flags, some weirdly worded things, but she also sees how excited her husband is, who also pretends to offer his suicide if she doesn't agree that they will.
Yeah, the parallel courtings. He's been taken from conference room to conference room full of white men in suits. The book points out him noticing there's no black people here and no women, but it's not like his attitudes are very like 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, well, there you go. That's Memphis for you.
All right.
And then, Hal Holbrook just parades him around. He's like, he's our number one draft pick. Let's try to impress him. It is it is like an athlete getting recruited where they pull out all the stops for you.
Well, yeah, but it's also sad because, half of them are like, good, then they'll focus on him. And I'm already, I don't know. It's like they already know the scheme and they've already made it this far. Do they feel like guilt for bringing in a new person or like relief? I guess it does. You don't stop doing all your crimes because a new person comes in. I would think your asshole should pucker up a little bit every time you bring a new person. I should think they should be intensely looking at him and looking for red flags, because if this business goes under, they all go to jail. Honestly, this is a fucking shambles. I don't think this makes any sense at all now that I think about it. They should all be putting him under a microscope for how scrupulous are you? Not too scrupulous? Because how good of an attorney do you fucking need to be to just do some crime?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do they need the number one?
Do you really need to be the best in the universe? I guess but that's the point. You need to be able to convince yourself like, well, I'm more, the reason they're paying me so much is because I'm the best.
That makes sense.
But ultimately, yeah, it's not that hard to be, or maybe it is. I'm not a white collar criminal attorney. I don't know. I don't know how hard it is. But meanwhile, Abby's being courted by the lady wife of the firm, Kay.
I guess she's the most charming one they've got. And she reassures her, don't worry, it's not forbidden to work. So it's okay that you're going to work.
Well,
no, it's fine.
The firm doesn't forbid wives to work. Well, how could they forbid wives to work? No, they don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I love that. So yeah, she goes to Abby and Mitch meet on the roof of the Peabody. If you've never been to the Peabody in Memphis, they have ducks in their lobby. It's adorable. They have like a parade of ducks, and it's they move from like one side of the lobby to the other.
That's because the lore is that the Peabody split their roosting place from their like watering place or something, right? So they have to walk each day from where they do their day stuff to where they do their night stuff.
Aww.
Yeah. So it's like a mea culpa.
Sorry ducks.
Sorry for your land.
Remember we went to Memphis for that one night trip. That's one of my favorite trips we've ever taken. I don't even know why. It was just a nice, pleasant little one night. We needed to do stuff.
Where
again.
we saw that band and I got a shirt that was too big.
I think that was in Austin. Maybe Vancouver. God, we've been some places.
We really did rack up some places.
All of it more than 10 years ago.
Well, actually all of it more than 8. I think you should do the math. 8 plus 9 months.
So yeah, on the roof of this hotel, Abby's like, Tom Cruise is like, hey, isn't this just like the best fucking firm you've ever seen in your
Would you
life?
get all jacked up and like fucking work
I'm
here?
just feeling so good about my lawyering. She's like, well, it's kind of, I've noticed some weird red flags. It's very creepy. You know, they said that I'm required to have a baby every 10 months and also I'm permitted to work, but they frown upon that. And he's like, well, I'm just going to kill myself.
I guess I'll kill myself. But it's so charming when he does it.
Yeah. And he's like, they're going to pay me $96,000. You know what that is in New York City? That's worth $150,000 in New York City. Did you ever think I would make six figures? And she says, yes. And he's like a little taken aback by that. Like, oh, well, fuck. So to compare it to the book again, and to demonstrate why I think this is a significant improvement from the book is it just has these neat little like tricks you'd learn in like a basic Hollywood screenwriting seminar of like, you need to give these basic character details to them, like Mitch being so
captivated or
so captivated to transform himself in order to like pay back his wife for the life she gave up. That's there in the book, but they really emphasize it here in the movie. And it's like, it's kind of an obvious thing, but it's like, it's there for a reason that.
And it's a very human thing for him to miss that he can hear her say, I don't care about those things. I made this choice and took that into consideration. I don't miss any of it. He can hear it, but as a person that didn't come from money, I don't think he can believe it.
Right.
And so he's kind of missing a big part of his wife's personality and like core goals values. And in one way, it really kind of fucking sucks. I don't think there's anything Abby could ever tell him to make him realize, I don't fucking care about this stuff. But he can keep saying it's for her. Because he does care about it.
So then we get our first look at the one of cinema's great villains, Wilford Brimley as Devasher, head of security.
Devasher?
My name's Devasher.
Wow.
He's informing Hal Holbrook of the phone calls that Mitch's wife has made. Wait a minute. They're monitoring their phone calls? Okay. She seems a little reluctant. Oh, she'll come around. But they changed the conversation. We need to talk about Kaczynski and Hodges. Have you spoken to our friends in Chicago? Yes, it's not good. We're going to have to do something. And then it cuts to Abby at school and her students are giving her a big goodbye banner. And Lacey thought this meant that this is what the firm was doing.
They said they were going to do something.
We're going to do something
They
about
know
it.
her so well that if her kids think she's already going, she has to keep her word.
Yeah.
They already made the banner. These kids are dumb.
But no, they're just saying goodbye to their favorite teacher, Miss McDeer, because the McDeers are moving to Memphis with their little U-Haul. Their house has been furnished by the firm, and Mitch has a Mercedes. So they take a sexy drive around the city, and then Mitch wakes up for his first day of work.
I'd like to point out, though, this is a lease. He does not own this car, and they put the dog in it. You don't do that. You don't put the dog. You don't put the dog.
No,
in a lease means just like our phones, right? We can have the best of them if we want them, as long as we promise to turn them in unharmed. So it's like a lease.
With an option to buy at the end. But I think that the reason like nice cars are leased is because if you're that rich, you don't
keep it for that long.
You don't keep it, yeah.
Unless you're like fucking Jay Leno.
He thinks he's the first person in the office, but there's strangers in the office of Mr. Kaczynski. Okay, whatever.
He thinks he's going to be welcomed and like patted on the back, but he feels shamed. And he's like, okay, I'll just go sit at my little boy's table where I've already been told I'm allowed to sit sometime. And this is a very impressive, and I just haven't been to a lot of Southern law firms, I guess. Definitely not really old ones that are very, very traditional, but it's just like, the most majestic law library / common area, maybe reception area, I'm not sure. But there's so many law books with their embossed firm name on them that they need a ladder like fucking Bell to get up and down. I thought law books, they go bad, right? Like they age out. So you're always going to have a shelf of law books, not accumulate a library of them, because I guarantee you most of those you can't use anymore. So I will ding them because now you could say this is tax law across many, many states, or at least like Chicago and Memphis or something. That's why there's so many. Fine, but they would be different colors. They would not all be the same. Ding.
You hear that, production designer for the firm? You've been called out. when I was working at the corporate firm with the billing codes on the copy machine, there was one morning where I showed up at like 7:15 and the senior partner there was on the elevator with me. And I was like, yes,
this is why we do this, guys.
But I was taking the ferry to work every day. It was
magical.
It was magical, but it came at the same time every day. So it's like, that's why I was early every day. It wasn't by choice. But again, I've always been good at showing up at places on time, and I can be early if I want to. And that's the value that I bring to this equation is I'll be here.
Make a note of that. Value add. See all those blue books? Now we're looking at the library, guys. There would be no reason to have this many of it. They only practice tax law.
Well, but tax encompasses everything. You never know.
Not.
When you don't have the internet, you never know what kind of niche issue you might need to look up.
I'm saying that they're not throwing away expired books, and I'm saying that's poor practice.
Plus, they're doing the world's tax codes. It could be tax law from...
No, and I got you. And I already
Serbia.
covered that. And what I'm saying is all of those blue ones make no sense. All of those green ones make no sense. It'd be very much more diverse in color. There'd be lots of sets, not 4 big sets. What this looks like are the kind of bookshelves you get in Minecraft where there's like 2 patterns to pick from. Book and book?
All right. That's why you give this movie 2 stars.
No, what?
So,
I do not.
Mitch is being prepped by all these attorneys. They drop in to his office one by one, like, I'm Mr. Man. I'm going to prepare you for wills and trusts.
Well, right, because you're going to take the bar exam, and every single one of them go in there and say, no associates ever failed the bar. I mean, that's really a fucked up they've all been given a talking point to give to him, or it's like their turn. You know, they all got rizzed, and now he's going to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh.
And the bar exam, he is very scared, but he's a great student. So
he is.
Nail this bar exam.
I will speak from experience that the kinds of places you work where the first day you're there, they make you feel like you're 6 months behind. Like the biggest red flag. Not if you weren't brought in and in your interview, they say, look, we are so behind. You are going to have to hit the ground running. It's not our normal. We will get caught up. If they don't do that and then they honeymoon you and then do this to you, fucking run. It's not good.
I guess. I figure that's just what it is.
No,
law firm.
I've worked at plenty. This
not
is
as
not
a lawyer.
Thank you. Fine, but the practices are the same. Either they wait too long to fill a position so that you are 6 months behind because they weren't willing to dish out the money when they should have. That is the experience of a marketing person, and when that happens, I'm just saying there's a way to go about it. There's a person that comes in and is like, look, we know we have a lot of backlog. You take the time you need to do it right. There, that's fine. It's okay if there's a lot of work to do. But the kind of boss that comes in and makes sure you know you are behind and being watched, that has happened 2 times, and both were not good experiences. And again, I started this by saying, in my experience.
So we get a succession of lawyers showing up to drop giant books on his desk. And then Gene Hackman, like a fucking superhero,
just knock.
Appears in the doorway, and you're like, oh, right, he's in this movie. Yeah. It's 29 minutes into the movie. Why wasn't he at any of those parties or conference rooms where he's being paraded around? Well, I'm Avery Tolar. Let's go to lunch.
Because I'm the party. And
I'm your partner. I'm your mentor. Let's go to lunch.
I don't play by the rules. I'm kind of a maverick.
Because when they go to lunch, he's like, the firm, just so you know, the firm frowns on drinking during office hours. I'll have a martini. So we get now the whole thing about bill. This is all about the billable hour. And if you're sitting in traffic thinking about your client, you need to be billing them for that. In fact, you need to bill them double. Whatever.
For risk.
I've had to bill as a paralegal, and it is a fucking nightmare for whatever reason.
I've had to bill too, but as a creative, as trial demonstrative creator, it sucks.
But why does it suck so much?
Well, because the wording is specific to the billing guidelines of each client. So you're allowed to say you have to say your full first name in your first entry, and then every other entry after that has to be Mrs. last name. And then there are certain words you can't use for some companies, and then other words you have to use for others. You capitalize certain words, you don't capitalize others. You like, and it has to use words that are substantive and like are allowed to be billed. So if you're not using those keywords, it just sounds like fluff. They will scratch it and it's like you didn't even do it. So I did billable hours, but where I got my extensive fucking experience on this is because I worked for the named shareholder, and she was in charge of reading the entire firm's pre-bills. Pre-bill is a bill before it goes to the client, and she would have to take the billing guidelines from every single client. We're talking about like fucking 25 clients per pre-bill, and compare it to the time entries of every single billable person. And so, sure, she did that in theory, but I did the pre-bills.
Okay.
And if I didn't give her like half the work to do, then I got them right back. It was the fucking bane of my existence.
Yeah, and for some reason, like when I was being trained on how to do this, I was like, well, okay, it's like a script, and you just find the right thing and plug it in, and it's electronic. You just press a button on your computer when you start working on a thing, and then you press a different button when you stop, and then it's all automated. And no, it's not.
But you do have to describe it, right? Like, yeah, you're pushing and stopping and starting for your time, but you have to adequately say who you did it for, and why they asked you to do it, like what like, is it for what action happening on the file was it for? Is it because they're filing a pleading? Like, if it's something the client doesn't know about, it's flagged.
Yeah, so it's constant justifying your job.
Yes.
Tell us what you're doing all day.
And
in fact,
why.
make it sound really good. Make it sound narratively compelling, and justifying the expense. We're billing. Hey, you're a 24-year-old paralegal.
Right.
We're getting paid $150 an hour for your time.
like,
you're getting paid $15 an hour.
The real fucking entry is because Pam fucking told me to do this as soon as I walked in the office today. That's why I did it. But the actual entry is in preposition for brief and campante or whatever. You have to be aware of the actual chain of command so that the client can track it back to something they asked you to fucking do or you told them they needed to do. It is stressful.
But it's an important thread of the movie that this is what it's all building up to, is like, it's a big scam and the mafia needs to be told about it, which I love. I love that idea.
You guys wouldn't want to be associated with a scam, would you? You knock some heads together because you have to.
So Gene Hackman is Avery Tolar, and this character is in the book, but this is just, hey, have a great actor play a character, and suddenly he's a real character and not just a name on the page,
right?
Which he is in the book, and literally just disappears near the end of the book. Isn't even brought up again. And
it's funny because Avery is a word I saw over and over and over again when working at an office, because that is the name of the most prominent label making company. And when you are in a law firm, you label everything. Avery.
Do you think that we should go try to work at a law firm again, see how things have changed since we've been out of the game?
God, I think we will hate what's changed and loathe what hasn't.
It's probably all woke now.
What? There's no fucking way.
So his whole deal is he sets up trusts and shit in the Cayman Islands for my wealthy clients. My wealthiest client is named Sunny Caps, and Tom Cruise is like, yes, all sounds very normal, very good, very regular.
Sunny Caps, like kneecaps, like what the fuck? Or Sunny because he lives in the Caymans, doesn't, okay.
You're saying a lot of words that sound really legit. Cayman Islands, trusts.
And then on another table,
schemes.
In the same place they're sitting, because it looks like the same fucking place Matthew McConaughey had lunch in that movie.
Had lunch? In what movie was that?
That was in The Big Short.
No,
that was in The Big Freak. Wolf of Wall Street.
That's right.
Final answer.
So
they all have lunches in place like these, man.
Yes. So bend the law as far as you can without breaking it.
Yeah, tickle its dick without making it come.
In other words, I don't want an IRS audit. We're trying to figure out how to do it.
No, he's okay with an audit. They just don't want him to win.
Well, that's the next thing he said. Yeah. I don't give a damn about an audit. I just don't want them to win.
Okay, then use his voice when he's saying things that he says.
I was just about to say something about, we were talking about how do you do a Tom Cruise impression?
Okay, so I've been trying.
Okay.
I don't have it.
Oh. Well, we thought.
Give me something to say.
The thing that, I am like a ship carrying a cargo that will never reach port.
Yes. It is Rob Lowe's character from Community.
From Parks and Rec.
That's what I said.
That is literally my favorite show.
My favorite show. Oh, okay, right. I don't think Tom Cruise is like the most Cruise-like in here, except for his amazing posture when he runs. There's no way someone didn't see that and went, make that man run in every movie he's in from now on. He looks so fast. I always find it very funny when an actor is forced to run and you can tell they are slow. I just find it very funny. But usually they can get away with it unless it's like comical and they're supposed to be kind of wild. But man, do they make him run in a lot of movies, and it looks exquisite. I'd say he's even a better runner than Keanu Reeves.
Well, he's cinema's best runner. His Twitter bio just says been running in movies since 1983.
Shut up.
That's what it says.
You shut up.
I will not.
Get out of here.
He tweets like every 6 months. He's like, can't wait for my movie. It's exciting.
He fucking tweet. Oh, I don't know why I thought you said LinkedIn. Because I'm watching a law firm movie. He links in that?
All right, let's go to LinkedIn, look up Tom Cruise.
That can't be real.
But there's this funny idea that like his clients don't mind paying the firm tons of money. In fact, they might have to pay the firm more money than they'd pay the IRS. They just don't want to pay the IRS. That pisses them off. They're annoyed by the idea that they'd have to pay.
Right, because one they have to and one they chose.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I kept wanting to tell you, but you hate when I stop the movie. But, you know, the guy that ends up giving Mitch this idea of how to like do this very legal way of entrapping the firm and making them stop without, because he didn't want to break his ethics in his oath. I can't remember the client's name, but I know they're in a fucking cotton exchange building. And of course the client's black, which just makes me feel very weird. And there's a fucking pile of cotton that's always on the outside of that building. Like, you guys are really exchanging fucking cotton? Like, the truck of cotton plays a big role at one point of the movie.
Might it be that is deliberate?
Oh, I feel weird for going on and on about it then. And it ends up being that what saves him is this like covert location right here where no one's actually looking. Anyway, this client is like, I know I did not make you guys work for 30 hours last month or whatever. And Tom Cruise is like, no, you didn't have 30 hours of work. I didn't bill 30 hours of work. And like, he's so sure. And he goes and looks at his billable hours and it's 28.6 or something. And he's like, see, I knew it. I didn't do 30 hours of work. I thought it was going to be like at least half of, come on, Tom, you remember 1.4 hours you did not bill and you were adamant, sir. Even that man, I'm thinking, okay, so you weren't rounding up like, I don't know. He couldn't know how many hours he actually had. But if I tell you I did not make you work 30 hours and you tell me, but you did make me work 28.6, I'm going to say that that's like just an honest mistake, or I might be misremembering.
Yeah. In fact, my memory of the movie is he checks his form and it's like, whoa, I worked 12 hours.
No, it's a time, but that's the whole thing. That's how they're getting away with it. And then they start showing you comparing and contrasting other clients' bills, and it's just like a 3 to 6 number difference, and that's how they're getting away with it.
Well, it's a classic. We keep two sets of books. We keep the real hours, and then we keep the hours.
Why even keep the fake ones, man? Like, just fucking pad them like other people do.
Why do they keep the secret files on the murdered attorneys? I don't got it. Right. But it's like we're such attorneys. We can't help it.
Why do you keep the key to the murder closet on the key ring with all your other keys? And you get drunk all the time in the Caymans, Avery? Like, here's my key ring because I want you to get back into my condo and I want to go fuck off for a while. It's also the key to the snack bar and to the murder closet. But, well, you know.
It's the only thing we know how to do is have files.
I do like the mistake that is made, though. It's very, like, it's the cabinet over to the, like, I think he just makes a right and left.
Says there's a
issue. I'm sorry. We can get there.
All right, we'll get there. But anyway, Cruise and Hackman have the conversation. What led you to become a lawyer? Well, I worked in a store. The store owner got busted by the IRS. It wasn't fair. What made you want to be a lawyer? Well, I caddied for some rich lawyers.
I wanted to have those tan legs.
This is the only other indication, because you would think most corporate lawyers you're interacting with come from some semblance of wealth or privilege. Mm-hmm. But right away he's like, no, I was a dirtbag working class guy.
They don't let just anybody be a caddy, though. Even the people who work at the country club are the members' kids and stuff. Like, I mean, unless they're going to be like lifelong people who've done service and like have an amazing resume. You don't just, those are really good jobs considered, or at least they're very protective of their country club stuff. So it can go either way. But what also can go either way is Tom Cruise's answer. And what you know about him is like, he is about his word. I mean, he does care about the truth and he cares about the law, but he is also kind of a shapeshifter and he knows he needs to always be reading the room. So he gives them an answer that he adjusted by reading Avery's response to it. Because he found it too Pollyanna at first, and then he went, no, I just couldn't. I wanted that kind of power. Like, he knew how to tweak it. Yeah, so it was a smart answer. Okay, people are dead, y'all. they're going. Okay, so now Mitch and Abby are going for a barbecue. Which, God, what does this remind me of? But these like you move to a small town and now you're part of this like fucking cult and your only options are like hang out with these people. What does this remind me of? Is it maybe kind of Mad Men? Like just neighborhood stuff, you know? Anyway, they're going over to another fucking barbecue and they get there. It's Lamar and no one else is there but him and his wife. And that is because she comes out in tears exclaiming that 2 people at the firm died, y'all.
On Grand Cayman, they were diving, and there was some sort of explosion.
They died in the dive.
They dived when the boat exploded.
Exploded in their brains.
They go out to see Lamar, and he's just sitting on his back in his backyard, and a sprinkler is repeatedly spraying him. That's how
in his dress clothes.
He is.
In his dress clothes.
And at first, you're like, oh, he's sad, but when you watch the movie again, you realize, no,
I didn't need to see it again. This man is disassociating his ass off. He's scared, and immediately the wife who has had her brain working and not clouded by fantasy of finally making it, immediately is like, yeah, she's sad. But mainly she's scared and, you know, and he's like, how can you tell? I spent a lot of time. And to Mitch's credit, he doesn't totally dismiss what his wife is saying because they have a stronger bond than the average husband and wife do.
Which we then see when she's like, they have two horses, quarter horses. And Tom Cruise says, does that make half a horse? And they both start laughing. This is you get the Tom Cruise laugh that you only get this one time in the movie, the toothiest laugh in cinema.
It's a good laugh.
And but it's just a good detail to show they make each other laugh, including at inappropriate times, which is the best thing to do with your loved one.
Yep. Agreed.
Well, they go to the funeral, and this is where Avery, Gene Hackman, introduces himself to Abby, and right away he's creepy.
God, is he creepy?
Here, shake my hand. No, I'm gonna let you go. I promise. Not yet, though. Gonna hold it. Hold it. Yeah. Keep holding. Must be so hard for Tom Cruise to leave home in the morning with you looking all pretty. Anyway, I'll be seeing you around.
And she immediately is like, oh, yeah, you must really be grieving. We all grieve in different ways. Some of us with our penis.
Mitch is working his damn ass off, but he finds out from Avery that they have to go to the Cayman Islands tomorrow. And
they need a fucking a solution to a complicated tax issue by the time they get there.
Yes.
So he's definitely just rope-a-doping. I use that term a lot, but it's how you make someone punch drunk and not thinking all the way. By the time Tom Cruise gets to the Cayman Islands, he needs to be pliable because there's going to be a very attractive hooker situation that he needs to fall for.
You need to finish this complicated tax thing. Also, you need to be studying for the bar. No associate of this firm has ever failed the bar. So all of the pressure in the world, don't sleep. Yeah, you have no inhibitions. You're right. That's part of it.
Yep. Ed Harris eating crackers.
But he goes to this diner to work, and then Ed Harris and also Paul Calderone sit down at a table near him. We last saw Paul Calderone.
Pulp Fiction.
In Pulp Fiction, he plays the bartender. My name's Paul, and that's between y'all. He almost got the role of Jules instead of Samuel L. Jackson. But Ed Harris starts talking to Mitch. He's like, you work at Bandini, Lambert, and Luck. They sure lose a lot of lawyers. 4 dead in 10 years. None of them over 45 years old. And Tom Cruise is like, what?
What?
And Ed Harris just gets up. He's like,
why come?
We'll see you again.
Yeah, no, hey, no.
We're seeing a lot of each other.
Take a packet of these crackers with my business card in them.
But then Mitch goes back to his firm's library and he's looking at the portraits of the dead attorneys and he sees, when they died. Oh, the guy was right. 45, all younger than 45. So he goes and does a 1993 internet search for articles about their deaths and gets results about these weird boat deaths in the Cayman Islands. Then he goes home. Now his wife is really mad at him. And he's like, well, I've been working my ass off to give you a great life. She's like, I don't want it.
I
don't want that life. I just want you. Now I've never asked for all that stuff that you claim you want to be giving me, but like Lacey said, there's nothing she could ever say,
right?
Because he's just hollow in the soul.
No, he's just damaged and from feeling inferior when he grew up.
That's what I mean.
That's not hollow in the soul. He's not out of hope. He can't not learn. It just will take years. He needs maturity and he needs proof from her to see that she really is okay with a smaller life.
Well, the hardest thing to accept is when I say that what I want is you and that's it,
Yeah.
that's like the hardest thing in the world to believe. Because if you have low self-esteem, you're like, but I suck.
Because it's also the easiest thing to say and a
Tom
hard
Cruise.
thing to prove. So I think by the end of the movie, she proves that plenty. But a poor person getting what they think they always wanted, that's really the only thing that can show someone like that, oh, it really isn't what you think it is. But I think he needs to have some stuff and then lose it and be like, yeah, that's fine. That didn't make me happier. It made me feel like I was on the fastest fucking treadmill. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't win the lottery because you got a really high paying job. You now have to have that job because you definitely bought a house and you definitely leased a fucking Mercedes.
And the things that attracted her to you are now not so apparent because you are
right.
stressed and tired and sick. And
and now you do have some money. So now how can you really suss out what's working for her or what's not if she's happy? Right? If you come home and she's just fucking just Clark Gable, why would she be that? I was trying to think of a housewife name. Just has your pie ready. It's like, why are you? No.
She is always chopping vegetables.
Anyway, why are you so okay with me not coming home ever? I think that would have damaged their relationship even more, her being totally cool with this.
Now, this starts a section of the movie where you get increasingly anxious about Tom Cruise not sleeping.
Me?
Yes.
I hate it. He needs a nap.
He's been up working all night. Now he has to have a fight with his wife and then go catch a flight. So he does. They fly to the Cayman Islands.
The poor man's dressing like a vampire. He's not even in that movie yet. Look at his shirt.
No, he's not. He's
fucking Jerry
like
Seinfeld.
He does look like Jerry Seinfeld.
He's in his
I don't want to be a pirate.
He's in his poofy shirt phase. Guys, this man. And you know it's bad when Tom Cruise doesn't shave. I mean, they only give him like a half a day of stubble because you can't do that to Tom Cruise's face at this time. But it's there.
So Gene Hackman takes him to meet their client, Sonny Caps. Now, this guy seems kind of like a mobster. He keeps talking about their friends in Chicago, but he contrasts himself with them. I'm not like our friends in Chicago. You lose me $1 million, I'm not going to break your legs.
I might break your kneecaps, hence the name, guys. But I got it legally changed.
He's not very happy, though, with his attorney, with Avery Tolar. So Tom Cruise then butts in and he's like, now I'm going to turn into Tom Cruise and give a very confident monologue about how great our plan is.
But this is how little he was actually prepared. I think Avery's supposed to be impressing Tom here, or Mitch. But Avery didn't prepare him at all for what his place is in the pecking order, or how you talk to a client like this. I mean, it went well, but it was not the best procedure. It just had a good outcome. Uh-huh. I mean, he mouths the fuck off. It just happens to be right. But that could go that boat explosion could come not at the expense of the firm, but on behalf of Mr. Caps.
Right. But it's, hey, you got balls. I like it. So they go back to the condo.
It worked.
You earned a great dinner tonight, a meal.
Get a steak and a tit.
At my favorite buffet. And I started to notice, oh, geez, you're just an old man who likes
you want a conga with a pretty girl and eat the buffet.
A cruise ship buffet.
Oh my God. No wonder he takes all the Cayman Island stuff. I would too. They have the best taquitos.
Stay at the Hyatt, right? They got that, that midnight buffet.
The sweetest ladies that are paid to dance with you. Like a cruise ship.
He gives the Sam Rockwell monologue from White Lotus, but instead of all the pussy and dick in the world, he's like, I just had buffet after buffet, and I wondered, why do I need the buffet?
I don't know. Even Phoebe buffet.
I want to be the buffet.
I want them to eat grapes out of my ass.
They go back to the condo, and Mitch is like, Avery, who's in Chicago? And he's like, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But first, we need to get cleaned up. You've earned a great dinner tonight. Instead of showering or going to sleep, Mitch takes a cab to go interview the owner of the diving company that had the boat from which the lawyers died. This is Mr. Abanks. His son was the boat captain who died in the explosion. And he said, he's the one who died with your 4 friends. Wait a minute, 4 friends? Mm-hmm. That's right, 2 lawyers and some other gentleman. One had a long blonde hair. He had a sort of serial killer vibe. The other... He
looked like he wanted to play a game. The other one looked like he had a brother-in-law who makes meth in a trailer.
Don't know why I'm saying that, but yeah, that was sort of the vibe I was getting. Which is like, interesting. Okay. Well, he goes back to the condo, and Gene Hackman's putting on his face in the bathroom, and he's like, Mitch, is that you? I'm trying to look as pretty as you.
You probably don't think it's possible, but I think it is.
And he tells him, get yourself a red stripe. He is so excited for Tom Cruise to drink a red stripe.
Is this like the the first movie that had product placement because they're like, look at the Sheridan logo.
What'd you think of that red stripe?
Look at that red stripe.
You like your red stripe? Get your red stripe. And Tom Cruise says, anything to munch on?
Don't say munch. God, I hate that. Fucking hate that.
Like, yeah. You know the key ring I gave you? Well, there's a locked thing of snacks or whatever.
Right.
And so
it's a locked fucking, what do you call it?
a mini fridge?
No, what do you call it at our hotel?
A mini fridge.
Mini bar, right?
Okay. That's what
Anyway, it's just funny. It's like, this is a luxury fucking villa, but they lock the snacks.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, why are they locking the snacks?
I don't know, but they also lock them. But it's also a place that he goes to so fucking often that he has his own closet no one opens. Is this a hotel or not?
No, they own this condo.
Okay, but so they go next door to the hotel.
Right. Later, Holly Hunter and Jeanne Tripplehorn, yeah.
Okay, fine, but he's not at a Sheraton right now or something.
No, he's at the condo that the firm owns.
Fine, but the condo association is not like a Marriott or something.
No.
Okay, so there's no cleaner there might be a cleaner, but she doesn't go in the
Doesn't ask
snacks
questions.
or the murder closet. Okay. Anyway.
Because Mitch asked, is there something to munch on? This is how he stumbles upon the closet of mystery.
Because he's like, it's a locked cabinet over there. Oh, the door. Okay, got it.
And it's just all kinds of file cabinets and boxes with the names of dead attorneys on them.
Fucking in there for so long. I think this was my most anxious
You were going
moment.
nuts
This is my
right
most.
here.
I mean, he's like sitting down, having a snack, lighting a fucking candle. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, that man only has 2 socks to put on.
Yeah, Gene Hackman's like, Mitch, I'm coming now. I'm
Here
on
I
the top
come.
step. Second to last step. Here. Oh, enjoy your red stripe. I'll be here in a second. Oh, okay, there you go. There you are.
Then he drops the red stripe in the closet and doesn't like scoot it out with his foot and say the most normal thing ever, which is, I've barely slept. I dropped this beer. He just shoves it into the closet, puddle and all. Like,
And what does Gene Hackman immediately say?
I'd rather drink tequila or whatever. What does he say?
Where's your red stripe?
Yeah.
Red stripe, red stripe, red stripe, red stripe. Red stripe.
I'd rather save it for the.
Chugga-lugga.
What does he have? Rum or something.
The rum.
Yeah, the rum.
I heard the rum was good in the Cayman Islands.
Everything's better in the Cayman Islands. Pussy, crab cakes.
All right, so God, this guy would fucking love I don't know if he would love a Carnival cruise. He'd
feel too pent up.
Is it a little too low class for him?
I guess if he got to steer the boat.
Can I steer this boat there? But yeah, he's having fun at this Caribbean like dance club for old white people. And this lady hits on Tom Cruise and he's like, hey, lady, take a hike. I'm a married man. And he holds up his wedding ring and she's like, forget you. But later, Tom Cruise is walking on the beach by himself.
Exactly 2 minutes later.
Well, yes. And he sees a woman getting accosted by a man.
There's a struggle.
There's a struggle. The man sees Mitch and he was like, oh shit. And he runs away.
Oh my God, that guy's 5'2" and he runs away.
So Mitch goes up to the woman, are you okay? And she's like, oh, I don't know.
I've sprung my foot.
He's like, let me help you with that ankle that's broken or whatever.
It's just a sprain. It's
And
all right.
she immediately starts hitting on him and she's like, I work at a travel agency and
I just wanted to feel, how do you say, rich?
I wanted to feel rich and pretty, and how much would it take to make somebody feel rich? And it's like Tom Cruise is like, wow. It's like she's speaking into my soul.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about law.
So they have sex on the beach.
It's just out in the open, just right there by the boat, by that land ship boat.
I can't imagine. I don't know. Would having sex on a beach be all that good? I
liked it.
Like it. What?
I don't know, like 6 times. Yeah.
With whom?
Went to Florida with me, and it's a condo full of fucking relatives. So there was a construction site of a hotel being built on the beach side. So you're not allowed to go on the beach there at night or in the day or anything because it's a construction site. So we just went there with a towel and had sex.
It was
A bunch of times.
How would you rate it?
It was good. It was good because it was public, but not. No one could see. There's no risk, but there was risk. It was only so mad.
All right, listener, Lacey and I have deleted a long conversation about
It got explicit.
Yeah, to protect the names of the innocent.
Namely me.
But my pride is wounded now. I
owe you some beach sex.
God. See, I would have assumed you didn't like that because of the sand.
I brought a towel.
Oh, well, there you. Well, I don't I don't know what to think. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, next day they're flying home, and Gene Hackman is like, oh, by the way, oh, your wife called last night. I told her you were walking on the beach. Well, I was. Well, I guess right then. Red stripe. So back in Memphis, Mitch, rather than going home to his pretty wife, rents a car to go see his brother, Ray, in prison. His brother, David Strathairn. The rare David Strathairn not playing like a gentleman of high status.
Where do I know him from, Matt?
Oh, what don't you know him from? I don't know. I hate the Lacey. What is Lacey?
Wait, you think you'd prepare? It's fine. It doesn't matter. And don't leave this in. You always leave in you Googling. It's not interesting.
I mean, he had sex with Carmela Soprano when she was briefly separated from Tony.
Oh, well, she's a priest. Oh, League of Their Own.
No,
That's it. It's a League of Their Own. It's League of Their Own.
Oh, okay.
I knew there was a very specific thing.
He's not the priest in The Sopranos. No.
Oh, he is.
He's like AJ's principal or something. Is David Strathairn.
He's a priest.
Yeah, okay, he's a priest. So, yeah, this is why he was afraid to mention his brother. His brother's in prison in Arkansas, of all
That's
places.
so embarrassing. Manslaughter, the cutest little death you could ever give.
It's been a while since Mitch has visited, but he's confessed, I am a little worried about my situation in life. Ray, wouldn't it be funny if I went to Harvard and you went to prison and we both ended up surrounded by criminals? I don't know, Mitch. Does that sound like the real world? That's right. Ray is like, well, yes, indeed, that would be ironic. You sound like you're in a lot of trouble. You have my sympathy. Also, I used to share a cell with a man, and you should go see him. He's in Little Rock. He's a private investigator, used to be a cop, and he'll help you.
Okay, I know one. This poor fucking guy. You sound like you're in deep. I know a guy that'd like to die.
This is intercut with Gene Hackman back at the firm telling Hal Holbrook how great Mitch was doing. And he's like, I want to send him to the tax seminar in D.C.
He'll really knock us out there.
And Hal Holbrook then turns over to Wilford Brimley. He's like, what do you think about that? And Wilford Brimley's like, it's a good idea. So far, the kid's been very predictable.
Oh, interesting choice of words.
I guess because like the movie isn't being explicit that the firm has been orchestrating everything, including the woman on the beach.
Right. Which, I mean, I suspected, but yeah, we don't learn that so much later.
Mitch goes to Little Rock to the office of Mr. Eddie Lomax. And first we see Holly Hunter in a blonde wig who's just like dancing in front of a teapot. He's like, I work here at the office, okay? And Gary Busey is Eddie Lomax. And he's just fucking thrilled.
Not the exact name of Weekend at Bernie's guy? Isn't
Bernie Lomax? Eddie Lomax.
Oh, it's in the
Weekend
name.
At Bernie's.
It's in the name.
But yeah.
Bernie and Eddie, come on.
There you go. Hey, Mitch McDear, I probably went to law school with you. Yeah. Your brother never stopped talking about you. By the way, it was statutory rape. She was 17. She looked 25. And then he explains the thing about Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter plays Tammy. This is an Oscar-nominated performance from Holly Hunter. The same year she won the Best Actress Oscar for The Piano, one of the great movies of the 1990s. Holly Hunter, one of the top 5 actor of all time, I think, in my opinion. One of my favorite.
She's
actors
up there. It's one of your favorite ladies.
One of my favorite ladies, yes. And she married a man who looks just like Elvis and calls himself Elvis.
Okay, in the movie. Not real life.
Tammy, not Holly. This is intercut with Abby paying a visit to the office. She's like, I'm looking for my missing husband. And Avery comes down. He's like, yeah, he's studying at the library. I don't know. So we don't see what Mitch talks to Gary Busey about, but as he leaves, we then see him leaving. He's like, well, I'll look into all that stuff for you.
Yeah, that's why I came.
So Mitch goes home to his wife and he's like, hey, where were you? You were missing today. I went to see my brother. Really? And then she's like, hey, why do you look so sad? Is it because your brother's in prison? He's like, yes, It is that and nothing else. She's like, I've got an idea. Why don't we order pizza and we'll watch Star Search like the old days?
I do love Star Search.
Meanwhile, Gary Busey and Holly Hunter are making out on his desk. When all of a sudden, 2 thugs come in. Tobin Bell, the Jigsaw killer himself, and Dean Norris, Hank Schrader from Breaking Bad, come in. Holly Hunter immediately goes under the desk, and Tobin Bell just immediately shoots Gary Busey in the ear. Why are you asking about dead lawyers? Who hired you to do that? He's like, I'll tell you who hired me. And he reaches for a gun underneath his desk like Han Solo. The man who hired me, his name was Julio
Iglesias.
His name was Julio Iglesias, and shoots and ends up shooting Dean Norris in the knee, and Tobin Bell shoots Gary Busey dead.
Because Dean Norris only gets a limp.
I know, it's crazy. He's limping later in the movie. That's just on his CV. He's going to limp with the best of them. So Mitch gets sent to this tax seminar in D.C. and learn all about taxes, but he opens up his binder to follow along with the speaker, and there's a note from Ed Harris. Like, meet me at the mall. So he does, and sits down on a bench next to Mr. Denton Voiles.
But he's at Mervin's. He did not know what he meant by mall.
I'm here. Now, this character is a recurring character in the John Grisham verse. Denton Voiles, he's the FBI director. However, in this movie, he just says, I'm with the Department of Justice, rather than saying I'm the FBI director, because yes, it is pretty strange that you'd go sit on a bench next to the director of the FBI.
Right. If you're trying to keep a low profile, maybe don't put your most important person on a bench with some guy.
Also, if you're a lawyer and you're in DC, you know who the FBI director, Lacey, you could probably name who the FBI director is right now.
It's definitely Cash Patel.
Cash Patel. Yeah, the guy who's been on hundreds of QAnon podcasts.
Did you know what I was saying?
Yeah, I did.
Cash Patel.
Yeah. Director Patel, that's you? I loved you on Rogan. I loved you on InfoWars.
You've really earned your spot.
So he starts explaining, all right, here's the deal with your law firm. It's the sole legal representative of the Moralto crime family in Chicago. Now, your house is being bugged, your phone tapped, your office wired, you're being followed. Your life as you knew is over. Basically, this is just a massive money laundering operation. They do drugs and prostitution and gambling. They take in the cash, they give it to the firm. The firm sets up phony corporations in the Caymans, sends back legitimate paychecks and stuff. I'd watch a movie just about that. I love that shit. I know
you would. You love a good launder.
They give legitimate work to the young associates to keep them busy, keep them not asking questions, head down until suddenly they're in on it and they're in too deep to get out. But to make the case against them, we need an insider. So Mitch, here's your dilemma. You can cooperate with us, help us out now and bring down the firm, or eventually we're going to bring them down anyway and you'll go down with them. But if you cooperate, you'll get disbarred. You won't be able to practice law again because you'll be revealing your client's information, which this is true.
Is that true? I mean, really, if you're helping the fucking FBI, could that possibly be true? I don't know.
I once asked a lawyer I was working for, I was like, wait, so who is the bar association? Are they the government? Are they the, and he was like, I don't know.
They're just who gives us the paper.
Well, I get disbarred. I don't know who's disbarring me, but they don't work for the FBI. But if you cooperate, we'll pay you. You'll go into witness protection. And Ed Harris is like, also, we might be able to get your brother out of prison. But in the meantime, you and your wife need to act like everything is cool. So when he gets back to Memphis, he immediately runs and tells the partners about the FBI. He's like, they were telling me about the secret files. And Gene Hackman's like, I don't know where I put those secret files. Do you know where they are, Ollie?
I don't totally understand this move or what it accomplished, but do you think he thought someone probably noticed him go?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's already decided I need to work with the FBI, but the first thing I need to do is
tell them that I was talked to.
Yeah. And so they act like outraged, like the feds are harassing us. It's because we always win these cases against the government. That's just what they do. They try to get you to break the law, and then they have you as a source, which is what they do. The FBI does. I'm in the midst of reading the incredible book Chaos by Tom O'Neill.
When are you going to put that on my phone?
I'll put it on your phone when we get Chinese food.
Okay. So never.
This book about how Charles Manson was almost certainly an intelligence asset, probably of the CIA. And the way these assets work is your handler with the FBI or the CIA or whoever it is, they encourage you to break laws and stuff. Once you break laws, then they're like, we'll turn you over if you don't cooperate with us. Anyway. Goes home to Abby, whispers to her, our house is bugged, our lives are over, we're fucked, and she runs away and he chases. He's like, you can't get away from me, I'm Tom Cruise.
Number one.
Easily catches her. And she's like, every single thing we've ever done in that house, nothing has been between us. But the only thing we can do, Abby, we have to pretend we are normal. If we don't, they're going to kill Ray. The only thing I can do is go into work tomorrow and start copying files. So the next day, Mitch goes in to try to copy some files, and he discovers the thing with the copy machine has the client billing code. And again, John Grisham in the book goes on for 55 pages about this. This is incredible what they can do with those. So he's on top of everything. Who do I even bill my espionage to? Which client is paying
Marketing.
for the FBI's work? Marketing. There you go.
00001.
That was what I would do often. There's just like firm admin code for just, I can't be bothered to remember. I still have the muscle memory of some of the client codes I worked on. Isn't that crazy? Everybody tell me how crazy that is.
Crazy.
But Mitch's secretary is like, you got ordered a fried egg sandwich from the deli? And he's like, I did no such. Ooh, that's Holly Hunter. Come right in, please. And she's like, the receipt's in the bag. It's a note from her telling him, meet me at the deli from which this egg sandwich came from.
That's the most natural thing to do.
I love ordering a pizza from Domino's, delivering it to my house, and then I go to the Domino's to eat it.
It's the ambiance.
But yeah, she's so good in this movie. She's talking about Gary Busey dying. She's like, I loved him, but she's being pursued by the goons, by Tobin Bell, and she doesn't know what to do. Because, she describes him, and she's like, there was a guy with long blonde hair and a guy who was bald and limped. Or limped after got shot in the knee.
Who's going to have a limp, right?
But Mitch is like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe you can help me. So it's like a plan is developing in his head, but then he gets intercepted by Wilford Brimley and Tobin Bell, who get him into their car, and they take him to a secluded location, and they open up a file, and it's photographs of Mitch having sex with the lady on the
intimate things, oral things.
So the way he pitches it is like,
we wouldn't want.
This is the kind of thing that the sicko FBI does.
They're fucking sick.
Like they'd get some. Your wife Abby's going to the mailbox, anticipating her shopper image catalog. What does she find instead? She finds heartache, Mitch. Go on, take a look.
Muff diving.
And so Tom Cruise is flipping through, and he's like, and Wilford Brimley's like, devastating. All kinds of intimate acts, oral and whatnot. Stuff a young wife will find hard to forgive. But I'll protect you, Mitch. I'll protect you. I just love the way he's delivering. Like, this is what the FBI would do. It's what I'm literally doing it to you, but I'm couching it in the language of the FBI is going to blackmail you here. So he goes back to the firm, and he is told, holding the envelope, holding the manila folder with the pictures, told Mitch, the partners want to see you in the library. Oh, fuck. And he gets in there like, surprise, you passed the bar, and here's your wife. And she's like, hi, I'm so happy to be here. And she hugs him and accidentally knocks the folder out of his hands.
Just his face and a crotch. And like, no, that's taxes. It didn't happen. But it could have.
So Tammy rents office space in a nearby office building with a copier. And Mitch comes clean to Abby. Another big change from the book. He never tells Abby about the cheating in the book, but it's an important change. Yeah. To make him not a terrible person.
The character they've been painting of him caring about what's true, the law, doing what he says he's going to do. He took an oath to her as he took an oath for that bar.
Right. And it's not, if the mob puts a woman in front of you to have sex with you, it is still your fault. But I think your culpability falls a little bit because they're putting it right in front of you and trying to get it to happen.
They calibrated. And what if he's not even the kind of guy that goes down on a woman? So she sees these pictures like, you would do this for her, but you don't know. In the middle of it, the woman could have been like, get down there now. And then picture, and then, springs back up.
These pictures don't tell the whole story, Abby.
It can look like it.
I told you I didn't want to do that, and it's true.
She was not enjoying it.
Yeah, so Abby's like, why are you telling me this? This is terrible. And he's like, well, I couldn't stand your not knowing. So she cries and leaves the restaurant. Gene Hackman gets told by Wilford Brimley that Mitch has a brother in prison. Don't worry, we've got a prison guard on our payroll, but Chicago is very concerned about this Mitch. We're worried that maybe we're misreading him. So Chicago's sending some guys down. But
what does Chicago know about Mitch? Huh? I'm trying to think, what does Chicago know?
No, they're coming down to try to maybe put some more men on it to try to really suss out what's his deal. And Gene Hackman is like trying to play it down. Like, no, nothing to worry about. It's just, I was embarrassed about his brother. Wouldn't you lie about your brother to get a job like this? Mitch, there's the scene where Mitch is sadly walking down Beale Street and the backflipping kid from earlier in the movie passes him by and it's like, hey, you gonna backflip with me? Oh, you're not. We start to see Mitch's scheme with Tammy of exchanging briefcases in the elevator. I want to do the briefcase exchange one day.
We will.
Okay. Mitch meets with his client in the Cotton Building who is angry about being overbilled.
Same building as Tammy. So office, he has a great cover for why he's doing this.
Right.
Why does he visit this man 27 times in 3 days? We will never know.
but he's angry about being overbilled. And he's like, all the firms are doing it. It's like it's this policy. It's absurd. And by the way, when you put this in the mail and send it, it becomes, and Mitch is like, a federal offense. Of course. And he gets his idea. So he goes back to Holly Hunter. He's like, I've got an idea. We can do this without breaking the law and I can still practice law. And she's like, okay, great.
And also Holly Hunter's been like making all these copies. Wait, no, this is later. Okay, I'll complain about this later.
Okay.
Great.
But the good stuff is in the Cayman Islands. That's the point. The shit I can smuggle out of the office, it's piddly stuff. We need to get down to the Caymans. But what to do about that gosh darn FBI that wants me to break my legal ethics code? Well, they go to the dog track and have a little convo.
Mitch gets some of his power back because he lures Ed Harris's character into saying like something about not doing something ethically.
I'll violate your civil rights, motherfucker. I don't care. I'm above the law. And he's like, could you say that again and say your first and last name? Yes, Agent Wayne Terrence of the Maryland branch. I'll violate your civil rights. Yeah, I, Ed Harris.
And then Mitch takes out his talk boy and he's like,
howdy do.
Yes.
But this is also where Mitch makes the demand. We want $1.5 million wired to a bank in Zurich, and we want my brother freed from prison. Your brother got convicted for manslaughter. I can't do that. It's like, you're the fucking FBI. You work for the director.
Fucking manslaughter. He's a white guy.
But yeah, this is so I have the compromise on you, Ed Harris, so you can't make me break the law, or else I'll leak this to the press. They'll have a field day. FBI agent says some untoward things to man at dog track. It's a scandal. So Mitch goes home to talk to Abby. He's like, I came up with a great new plan. Okay, do you want to hear my plan? She's like, no, I don't really care to hear your plan. I care to leave you. I'm going to my mom's house. Oh, okay. But we have to go inside and say it for the bug so that they can hear that you're leaving. Mm-hmm. You know, on our Severance show, I've been talking about how I don't like stories that withhold information from viewers. I do think that different rules apply in a sort of spy caper or a heist thing. People might accuse me of
well, just tell me what you're okay with here.
That we don't know what Mitch's actual plan is, and so many of these kinds of movies involve the main character has knowledge they're not sharing with you.
I'm okay with that if it's making it fun to track, but yeah, when they're just using it to cheat at getting some sort of feeling out of me that just. Like, oh God, what does it mean? Just tell me. But when I'm watching a thriller or a heist movie, I'm not like, oh my God, but what's their plan? I'm enjoying watching the plan unfold.
That is the pleasure of the thing.
Right.
It is a good in and of itself. Yes, that's the difference. So yeah, she's leaving, and I'm never going to see you again. Maybe, I don't know. So we cut to Ed Harris talking to his boss, to the FBI director, and the FBI is like, well, you know what? Okay, fine. We'll get his brother out of prison. But then as soon as we get everything we want from McDear, we'll send his brother right back to prison. So we, the viewer, now know, well, the FBI is just going to fuck him.
Right.
So that's the sort of tension this movie is playing with that I think is kind of clever, is like, you also can't trust the FBI. And which Mitch says immediately, like, I'm going to go be in the witness protection program? Like, what kind of life is that? And I'll just be living in fear the rest of my life?
Right.
All of the director can say is like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, of course it will be.
It is what you make it.
And also, you won't even let it get that far. You'll cut me loose as soon as it's convenient. And he's smart enough to realize that, and which is what I love about the difference of the ending of the movie versus the book, where the movie's like, there's this clear side to be on, and it's the side of the mafia. It's not the firm or the FBI.
In the book?
No, in the movie.
Okay.
The book, he's with the FBI all the way through.
Got it.
So now we begin the Cayman heist, and
I mean, okay, so Avery goes to see Abby because he heard it's her last day, and he's got such the chubby for her. So he goes to her school and like looks at her, and it very weirdly invites her to the Cayman Islands. Strange play.
Well, because he's like, I'm going to the Caymans. You should come. And he sees her reaction, and he's like,
bring him up.
I take rejection really well. So he's just like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
Just hit on everyone you see.
I just need to get you into the Caymans. And this whole time, you know, Abby's a doer. She has insisted on keeping her life normal and having some control. So she, works as a teacher. Now she's being asked to leave that job and get the hell out of here for her safety and because she doesn't want to be around her husband right now. So she sees an opportunity. Fuck it. You want me to go to the same condo with the murder closet? Then maybe I'm going to take this shit in my own hand.
Well, because she knows about her husband and
the
Tammy's
dive
plan. They've hired the dive boat driver,
right?
The dive boat driver to take him diving and take him really far away. And we know we'll have a timetable for when he's gone, so Holly Hunter can smuggle the files out of the condo. But he says right here to Abby, I can't dive. Turns out I have to cancel my. There's a thing where you can't fly
within a certain amount of
time
hours after diving. Yeah.
So she's like, shit, we need to tell Mitch, but I don't know how to tell him because he's being bugged. So she tells Holly Hunter, and then Abby comes up with a plan on her own. I'll go down to the Caymans and I'll seduce him sexually.
Sexual style. But wait, I don't remember. Does Mitch end up at the Caymans too?
No. And this too is a change in the book with Abby going to the Caymans.
But how does Mitch know not to go to the Caymans? How does
he tried to get invited on this trip, and Jeanne Hackman says you can't go because my client will like you too much.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I mean, that might not be the literal reason, but he's.
But so
we saw the scene where he's like, "When are you going to the Caymans next?" He's like, "I'm going next week. You can't come. Sonny's going to end up liking you too much."
I got that, but like, why is he not freaking out? And why is Holly Hunter in the Caymans as if he is going? And I'm just saying, he seems like he should be freaking out a little more that he can't go do his plan.
He was
during
never.
This time?
He was never going to the Caymans.
Oh,
he was just sending Holly Hunter.
Oh,
because she's never met Jeanne Hackman.
Oh, okay. Now I get it.
We see Ed Harris escorts David Strathairn out of FBI agent Wayne Terrace escorts Ray McDeer out of prison, but then we see the prison guard who's on the mob payroll, and he contacts the firm. Mitch tells Terrence, send half the money now and then I'll send the files. Okay. Down in the Cayman Islands, Avery Tolar is at the buffet and he's very excited. he's filling up his plate with all kinds of victuals, and suddenly he sees Abby and he's like, holy fucking shit.
It worked.
That's the first time that ever worked.
I caught myself a gazelle.
And she is holding an island drink, and he's like, I'm enchanté to see you. I'm surprised to see you. She's like, I'm surprised too. I forgot what she says. But they sit down, they start drinking, and he starts to like explain himself. He says, I have a very bad reputation. I run around. I run around.
Well, he's like instantly like bearing his soul because he didn't expect it to work. And I think there's part of them that really likes Mitch and respects her.
Yeah.
He needs to pump the brakes all of a sudden. He's just like, whoa. I'm getting too weird for my own self. Like this is a bridge too far.
And this is the Jeanne Hackman magic that you can invest all of that in just a few little words that he's saying.
Yeah. Like, look, I actually really love my wife.
It's because I cheat on my wife because I think my wife understands me and she's lost interest in me. Mm-hmm. I know I have, and I haven't cared about it for anyone since. I'd like to, though. I miss it. I just love she lost interest in me, and then I lost interest in myself as a result. And I haven't like felt like a human being. And so I'm like Sam Rockwell in The White Lotus, pursuing buffets everywhere. So he goes off to refill his plate at the buffet and gives her a thumbs up from over there. And she pours the drug powder into his drink.
You're never going to notice it.
There's this whole thing with Mitch's brother is getting pursued by the FBI because they want to put him back in prison as soon as Mitch gives them the files.
There's this whole like process with the Elvis impersonator and some trucks and then a plane, and there's a whole B plot that's just a whole a lot of whole.
Well, this is the like, oh, Mitch thought of everything, anticipated their every move. He knew that they would be putting his brother back in prison, so he got the Elvis impersonator in his big rig. Jeanne Hackman drinks the drug powder and then is stubbornly not passing out, which I don't know where else that happens. I just always like it when it happens in a movie or something. Why are they not passing out with the drugs? They're that much of a drunk that it's not even affecting them.
Well, it just takes a minute. He just has a high tolerance. It's coming. A high metabolism. He's a slow metabolism.
So Abby's like, he should have been passed out by now. Okay, I guess I'm going to have sex with him. She starts to like remove her clothes, but he suddenly gets very aggressive. Why are you here? You're not being truthful. She says, fine, I came here to punish Mitch for cheating on me and for having the firm ruin our lives. And she goes to give him a kiss, but then he just falls over asleep. So she starts smuggling out the boxes. This is my favorite part of the movie and the book is the file box escapades. I love sneaking a bunch of file boxes and having to go make copies real fast.
It's very stressful.
Yes, very, very
I'm
stressful.
stressed.
They do this all night, just making copies, taking staples out, putting staples back in.
And here is where I will say that I'm not pleased with Tammy's fucking. I know she's just getting the job done, but she noticed from file box 1 that there's no numbers on anything. Like there's the thing that he wants to get copied just isn't there. And so like they realize that totals and numbers of any kind are protected under some kind of password that they find. But I still don't understand how that fucking works.
It's just their March Madness brackets.
All right.
I don't get it. But maybe there'll be a password on a compu panel, and that'll be the clue that will unravel this whole thing. He's like, well, I'll go look in his office tomorrow morning. Okay, great. But it's the morning. Abby goes back into the condo, and she's like, I'll just sneak into bed, take off my clothes, and be like, hey, big boy, that was some sex you had last night. But he gets woken up by a phone call from Wilford Brimley. She stole your keys, and God knows what else. Who is she? Gene Hackman immediately lies, like, just some girl I met. I don't know.
So wait, how do they know? Oh, because they heard someone on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, they know it's a girl. They know she stole shit, but they don't know who the fuck it is.
Yeah, because Abby made a call from the condo.
Right.
Hey, I'm coming with the shit that I stole from the firm.
Way to go, Abby. You did a lot of good stuff, and then that.
So already he's lying for her. She comes in and talks to him, and it's just this nice, sad little scene. He's like, you got to go. You got to get out of here. Also, the firm set Mitch up with that woman on the beach. That was orchestrated. And she's like, what are they going to do to you, Avery? Whatever it is, they did it a long time ago.
Oh, that's another powerful.
Yeah, none of this is in the book. This is all such an improvement on the book. You have both of these characters a sort of emotional journey to go on.
Yeah.
Back in Memphis, Mitch has gotten the final. He went to the copy panel and got the key to the cipher thing. Now they can solve the bank
Cordelia.
records. It was his wife's name. That's it.
Rosebud.
But the firm has detected Mitch. Mitch is the mole. Get him, Wilford Brimley. And Mitch makes it out of. He jumps out of the window and onto the cotton truck and rolls off. Runs into the Peabody Hotel. Calls Ed Harris.
Where it all started.
And Ed Harris is like, "My God, McDear, the Moralto crime family's coming in this afternoon. They're real upset with you. Come into the FBI. We'll take care of you." And he's like, "Are you kidding me? You're terrible at everything."
Fucking suck.
He sees the Mud Island monorail and runs and gets on it, where he is immediately spotted by Kay, the wife of Lamar, who calls her husband. You know who I just saw on the Mud Island monorail?
I was just taking a little field trip with our homeschooled children.
Right.
There's 4 things to do here. We're doing Mud Island again.
Mud Island again.
It looks real boring.
It is crazy that Memphis has a monorail. Its only function is to go to Mud Island. It
had to be for like the World's Fair or something. That's always the explanation for these random fucking ways to travel.
Yes, a Lyle Landley-esque figure is now living on an island from the Memphis monorail boondoggle. And Mud Island is closed now. The monorail doesn't do anything.
No.
I checked the Memphis newspaper's
website. That was what we were going to go do.
Just like that pyramid in Memphis. It's like, we're going to have sporting games here in the pyramid. And instead, it's a Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, fuck.
So we see at the airport, Paul Sorvino and Joe Vitarelli arrive. And some cops
Big
are
pussy.
like, welcome, gentlemen. You don't look suspicious. No, Joe Vitarelli is not Big Pussy. He is a Jelly from the
Jelly
from the Analyzed movies.
Yes.
Just how many more people can be in this movie?
I don't know. And they all have first and last names.
I know. Mitch gets spotted by Tobin Bell, who starts chasing him. Now I think the score is getting cool and horror scory as Jigsaw chases him. I like that when Tom Cruise sees Dean Norris, he immediately kicks him in his bad leg. And there's just, the chase is on. This is really shot so well, edited very well, very thrilling. Nobody better at running through space than Tom Cruise being pursued by Tobin Bell and Wilford Brimley. And I love that Wilford Brimley, who's behind everybody, just wobbling along like a walrus, sees a figure through a door and just shoots at it. And it turns out it's Tobin Bell, his friend.
He had a briefcase in his hand.
He's just like, where you at, Mitch McDear? Come on down now. And Tom Cruise, drops from the ceiling and hits him with his briefcase and then just kicks the shit out of him.
Beats the fuck out of him with that briefcase.
And as he does, he's like, you sick son of a...
It's effective.
And Brimley just rolls over dead from kicks.
Don't kick me. I just had the buffet. I just shat.
So then my favorite scene of the movie, the two mobsters are in their hotel room and Paul Sorvino's like, oh, if I get my hands on that Mitch McDear. And then his assistant comes in. He's like, there's a Mitch McDear here to see you, sir.
I got my hands on him.
That is another. This movie has 10 of my favorite things in movies. You'll never find him. How do we find him? You won't. Oh, he's here. Okay.
He's where you last left him.
Mitch looks like shit. His voice sounds like shit. He's all beat to hell. He hasn't slept in 9 days. And he's like, hello, I am
embarrassed to tell you something that the firm has been doing.
It's very awkward. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid my client has behaved in an unethical manner, engaged in a conspiracy. We've been overbilling our clients.
I'm sorry.
And I wanted to report this criminal behavior, but I can't do it. I can't submit my client's invoices as evidence without their written authorization. And Joe Vitarelli's like, that's it? That's what you've been talking to the FBI about? He's like, oh yeah. And by the way, it does not waive your rights to complete confidentiality. I'm your lawyer. I can't talk to the government about you. I'm like, but you stole the files. Oh no, the files haven't been stolen. They're exactly where they've always been. I just needed to get a sense of all your activities and holdings, so I prepared copies. That way you and I can communicate properly. I know everything, right down to the penny, pound, franc, and Deutschmark. As I should, as your attorney.
Right.
Wherever I go, the whole point is like, all right, so I've made copies. I'm not telling you who has access to the copies, but as long as I live, the secret is safe. You can't kill me, because if you kill me, your shit will be let out. But just keep me alive. But I'm not going after you. This has nothing to do with you. I just want to fuck over my firm. And they're like, okay, then we'll sign the form. And they do. And that's that. Great. I love it.
They're going to have to find new representation.
They will, which Ed Harris in the next scene is like, there's 1,000 other Bendini, Lambert, and Lux. And Tom Cruise is like, then we go after them one by one.
Who's we? Are you in this now? Is this going to be a specialty?
But then he also says the opposite, which is like, it's way harder to find the law firm than it is to find you kill a mobster and 1 million more mobsters spring up. Like, this is a specialized sort of operation that we're breaking up here.
I mean, it is. They have decades of like even killing the people that they bring in just to protect the shit they do for the mafia.
But that's sort of, I guess that's the journey he's been on, is like, he says to Ed Harris, just because they don't carry guns or whatever, you don't think of them as criminals. But his journey through this movie is, I've rediscovered the law. I love the law so much. And these bastards at Berdini, Lambert, and Locke have perverted the law. They're way worse than the mafiosos. And you need to get that through your thick skull, Ed Harris. They're way worse than the mobsters. You're just indoctrinated in the FBI thinking you're going after the mob. No, go after the lawyers. Mm-hmm. And if you go after the lawyers, the only thing the mob can do, the only way they'll be able to launder money is in a washing machine. And Ed Harris is like, yeah, I guess you're right. So, yeah, this is this whole, you can get everybody at the firm. You have basically you can build a racketeering case, because every instance of them sending out a bill was an overbilled bill was mail fraud. They'll all be in prison for the rest of their lives. Anyway, and Ed Harris is like, how'd you ever come up with that? Mail fraud. And he's like, I learned about it while I was studying for the bar. The firm made me do it. Again, this is way different from the book. In the book, he and Abby flee to the Cayman Islands forever. Like, he won't be a lawyer again. But this is...
Wait, why would you go to the Cayman Islands?
Or no,
that's where they keep going.
To an island or something.
Oh, all right.
Lots of John Grisham books end with the main character fleeing to the Caribbean. He just likes the Caribbean.
He just needs more vacations.
But this is his way of like, I got my life back and I keep my law license and I'm going to be a good lawyer now, because I care about the goddamn law. And as we've seen in America today, nothing is better or more sacred than the law. Abby comes home and they reconcile. And she's like, by the way, Gene Hackman, pretty decent guy in the end. But I really like this. She says, Avery was decent and corrupt and ruined and so unhappy, and it could have happened to you. You were on your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
Good stuff. That's the firm.
Good stuff. Good writing on there. Good delivery even.